My grandfather was convicted of grand theft. He stole a cow. It was winter. Everybody was hungry. He went out and stole a cow. And he put this cow on shoes. And the reason he put the cow on the shoes is because he wanted to give the impression that it was more than one corporate in the field trying to, steal his animal. But he got caught, and they sent him to the Mississippi State Penitentiary in Parchman. He did 3.5, almost 4 years. He got out in 1961. In 1961, my mother, she was 9 years old. Excuse me. When she got out, when my grandfather got out, he came and got my mother from Bellevue Plantation, and they left and came to Florida. And my mother say during that ride, the 16-hour ride coming from the Delta to Florida, she swore she would never stay in Mississippi again. Over on my father's side, meanwhile, the year was 1965. My Uncle Junior, he went by the name in Mississippi, Buckaroo. And in Belle Glade, he went by the name of Junior Ball. He came to Florida I want to say it was a summer. It was the summer. One summer day. And when he got to Florida, he was 15 years old and unable to find work. He got the sticky fingers and got caught stealing from a camp in Belle Glade. And they took him to the West Palm Beach Detention Center on 45th Street. He called my grandmother and my Uncle Irvin, which is my grandmother's oldest son. They got on the road immediately, and they made the 18-hour ride to Belle Glade, and they found a guide to take them to Palm Beach. And these are the words of my Uncle Irvin, what he told me years ago. He say, when he came to Belle Glade and saw niggas with all this money in their pocket, walking around, driving these nice cars, he said he knew he would never go back to Mississippi again either. Shortly after that, my father came to Florida, and my father was 17 years old. He met my mother on 6 Mile Bend in Belle Glade, and there they got married. When they got married, they conceived me. After they conceived me, and I was born, I already described to you guys about how rough things were. And after so many years of growing up in the ghetto is one of the most heinous situations created by mankind. The ghetto is an impoverished area in every city. But this city where I come from was so impoverished. I'm going to paint you guys a picture. From Canal Street, which the streets run north and south in the city. The streets run north and south. The avenues run east and west. From Canal Street to maybe Avenue E or Avenue F is considered the ghetto, depending on what side of the city you actually in. And these ghettos are ran by slumlords. And these slumlords are the guys that are the men and women that own these properties that set you up in this situation, because you can go 10 miles, you can go 2-3 miles, to the north, or 2-3 miles to the east, and you wouldn't see how we was living. But after a while, I came up with something called the Belle Glade mentality. The Belle Glade mentality. And this mentality was, a trickle-down theory from all the thieves, the robbers, the killers, the drug dealers, the prostitutes, the panhandlers. All these things were going on. You could come outside and see a dead body, and you a little child, this could traumatize you. Or somebody always trying to pull one over on you. I kind of like explain that, but I'm explaining to you the place where I grew up at. And in this place, you can see a stranger, and if he would be considered a stranger, if he wasn't from the area of town where we stayed. So to keep pain here, when my mom stayed on a certain side of the city, I didn't see nothing as far as, you know, things you could get into and be bad and learn off. She moved me to another side of the town, and when she moved me to that side of town, I still didn't see nothing. And I was kind of like, you know, it's like you got a blind eye. You could go play, you could do all these things. But she moved us from 10th Street to 5th Street. That's 5 blocks. That's 5 blocks in. When she moved us from 10th Street to 5th Street, that's when I saw the drugs. That's when I saw I smelt the marijuana. That's when I started hearing the guns popping. That's when you could come out to walk to school in the morning and see somebody laid dead in an alley or something. You understand what I'm saying? So having this mentality that we all had and being in this closed in area here, you understand that if you could leave there and go anywhere else, that you will prosper because you already got it here. Nobody can run no game on you. You know, we used to use a term called, I could see through muddy water to dry ground. And that was true because this ghetto was so harsh. It was so unforgiving that if you lived there or if somebody else saw it, it would make them vomit. And I had a friend a few years ago told me, hey man, check your message. I checked my message. He sent me a picture from back home. He asked me, do I know what it said? I said, of course, I know what it said. He said, I owe you an apology. He said, man, I owe you an apology. He said, I never seen nothing like this. He said, when I get to Miami and I get to Miami or either Orlando, whatever one I go to first, I need to tell them about this place. And Belle Glade sits 2 hours south of Orlando, and it sits an hour and 30 or hour and 45 minutes from Miami. It sits right there in the middle. And this place just gave me and so many of my other friends and brothers within the city this mentality. And this mentality always gave us the opportunity to see something before it happened, to be able to dictate what we was going to do to others and not have them to do it to us.